Hey everybody, Modern World Emporium here, and for today's video, we're going to be covering a video by Modern Dating Here. He makes a lot of great videos. I'm going to link to him in the description, so please go give him a follow. And don't forget to give us a like and a follow as well. So let's get right into the video.
Would you rather go buy me an engagement ring right now or decimate everyone in that restaurant?
I could just go down to a pawn shop and buy a fake ring, so yeah, that works for me.
So you want to give me a fake ring?
If it involves getting out of killing people, yes.
So is there a reason that you don't want to propose to me?
Because we've just gone on our first date.
Right, so for this part, it is definitely a skit. There is no way that this is real. But however, it does, once again, with every piece of satire, it highlights something that is very common amongst modern day women, and that is the absolute obsession with getting married as fast as humanly possible. And it's never for reasons you would think. They don't want to marry for love. They want to marry for a man's money. No, I'm not saying that that's it in this case. But once again, I believe this is just a skit. So let's continue forward.
Oh, and what's the problem?
Any of you watching this, if you don't see the problem either, I'm very concerned about you.
He should get ready to start running at this point.
Oh, so now you're going to turn my audience against me?
Girl, you have that man stressed out. He is never going on another Bumble date. Girl, leave that man alone. You are such an interesting person. I need to know what this woman looks like. He blocked you before he even got to the car door. He's deleting Bumble after this. Bro regretted swiping right so bad. The main
Again, I am almost 1,000% sure that at this point that this is a skit. The comments were actually really, really funny on this one because let me tell you, I'm sure there are women out there like this that are really, really like in their own head, and they think that if you don't want to get married after one date, that you're just a scumbag piece of shit. But again, I understand that this is satire, and we're just going to move forward from that.
concern in this situation is that she doesn't see any problem with her suggestion. Where in the world would you expect someone who just met you to take this step? I guess the wall is getting closer, and that's the reason why she doesn't want to wait for another day. It's like an emergency at this point. He needs to block her and, if possible, change his car in case she has another brilliant idea. One thing we know for sure is that he is going to be traumatized by this experience and probably will never go on another Bumble date again. Being asked to buy an engagement ring on a first date is insane on its own, but when she added the other option, it made the whole situation more interesting. From the moment she suggested it, I bet he regretted taking her out, as it was clear that he got himself into a funny situation due to her abnormal behavior.
And that he is right. Any man that would find himself in a situation like this, I hope would run the other way. Again, I understand this is a skit, but there are plenty of crazy women out there that would do something similar to this. Maybe not this crazy. I mean, actually, hell, maybe even this crazy on a first date. But this is like a really, really cherry-picked situation. I get it. But basically, I would imagine that like you can find humor in something like this because there are plenty of women out there that are insane enough to ask a question like this. And it also just brings light to the fact that women are so obsessed with marriage that they will freak out at even the slightest hint of it potentially not happening as soon as humanly possible. And that's something I've just never really understood.
It seems like she doesn't want to waste more time, but this is not the right way to find yourself a husband. But I hope she understands why it was an uncomfortable situation for him, and I know she wouldn't appreciate it if a guy she met for the first time was telling her about the life plan he has for them. This is not the right approach when it comes to finding your significant other, and this is how she lost her opportunity of a second date. I found an interesting question in the comment section. The person who wrote it didn't understand why he redirected his attention to her followers. Why he addressed the audience. That was a good question, but since she was recording, he already knew this video would be posted somewhere for her followers, and that's why he took this opportunity to get their opinion. He knows they will have a lot to say about how he conducted himself.
That is something I can definitely agree on here. When he turned his attention to the woman's audience, he knew, like many men who have been recorded in the past, he knew that this was going up on TikTok for her followers to shame and ridicule him, regardless of whether he's in the right or not. And him actually taking the opportunity in this situation is really, really funny because it gives the audience a chance to be like, okay, maybe she actually is the problem here and not him. And I'm actually really glad he did this because in a lot of these situations, men will not stick up for themselves. They will either lash out or try to flee the scene instead of turning it on the woman doing it to them. And I really wish more men would defend themselves in these situations. It's just really needed.
What's the most a man should spend on a first date?
Well, I feel like there should be like a minimum, but not a most. Cause like, if you want to go, beyond, that's on you. But like a minimum, I feel like if I'm gonna get ready and I'm gonna use all my products to come out with you, I need like a minimum of $200, a minimum, and that's like being nice.
And what does the man get in return for that?
My presence.
But aren't you having his presence within you already?
I had to know. I mean,
She was even confused with her own argument.
All right, I'm going to say this right now. I have absolutely no idea why these street interviews, they never seem to adjust the audio volume on anything they record, and it always sounds like it's coming through a megaphone into a phone speaker. It's just really, really awful. And second off, I really love how even she has no idea what the fuck she's talking about. She's just such a spoiled little brat that she literally thinks her existence is worth that much money. Any woman on this planet can get a date. Any of them. It doesn't matter if they're a 1 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. You are nothing special. If he sees you behaving this way and demanding $200 for a first date, he can find any other woman to go out with that's just as equally attractive or more attractive than you are.
And that's why she got lost when trying to explain the reason a man should pay just to go on a date with her.
I hear you, but no. No. I mean, like, I'm here to get to know you. I'm here to get to know you. You invited me out.
But he has to drop $200.
Yeah. Because
minimum.
Yeah. Because you
just
invited
because
me out.
just because you have to do your makeup?
Because I have to. Okay.
I have to pay $200 because you use products you bought for yourself? I have to pay $200 for someone who will use those products either way. Make it make sense. Because she used all her products. And I bet that's why she's single. And these women complain they can't seem to find true love or any good men. I can see the brain cells evaporating with every single word. She should grab a seat and relax because her argument makes no sense.
This finally gives me an opportunity to address this. I've always wanted to in one of these videos. I find it hilarious how these women talk about how you need to pay for the amount of product, makeup and such that they're using. And that's like basically like that's why the first date needs to be so expensive. But my question is, how the fuck are you going out on so many dates that you're going through this much makeup that it needs to constantly be replaced? And a man needs to essentially pay a fee because you're constantly replacing your makeup. That to me says you have extremely poor decision making and you're hanging out with and probably having sex with a bunch of dudes. And why would any man want a woman that's doing that? It's absolutely fucking disgusting. And it's just crazy to me. Like what kind of excuse is that? You need to pay for my products. How about this? How about you stop going out with so many men? Weirdo.
Why would he pay that amount just because he's going to be on your presence? She is expecting a stranger to pay for used products she bought for herself a long ago. But we shouldn't be surprised by her expectations because many women have reported they have a lot of simps who send them money every day just for nothing. So it explains where her delusion comes from. She will get a reality check from the moment she meets a confident man who wouldn't pay his date just to talk to her. It will show her another reality of dating. Why should her date pay for a product she would have used regardless of whether she was on a date with him? Did she forget he also had some expenses to make himself presentable? Hopefully, she is considering paying for it. No wonder she still wasn't able to find a partner. With her mindset, I know her dating scene isn't going well, as there aren't many guys willing to pay for his date beauty maintenance product.
You see, I actually agree with him, and there's actually something else I'd like to talk about. I find it hilarious how a man is expected to pay more or pay a lot of money for a first date because a woman covers her face in almost $200 worth of makeup that she bought a long time ago, because no one goes through that much that fast unless, again, like I said before, you're dating a bunch of dudes and constantly putting it on. Not only that, he's right. She's going to use this in her day-to-day life anyway, so you shouldn't be paying for it regardless. And also, on top of that, so why doesn't she have to pay some kind of fee or pay for something? I mean, after all, by her own admission, a man has to have a really expensive car. He has to have really nice clothing. He has to present himself this way. He has to look like this. She should be paying for his gym membership, for his car fees, for his insurance, since he has to have the car. And she should also be paying for his clothing and various other things that she demands.
What's a red flag in a guy?
A red flag in a guy is when he doesn't pay for your meals.
And then why do you think so?
I just think that we deserve a little bit better and that my meals should be paid for.
Would you want him to pay for all the meals?
Absolutely.
So you want the more masculine male figure?
Yes, I do.
And then what would you bring to the table if he's paying for all the meals?
I would bring my personality, my good looks, my amazing creativity. I would bring so many other things.
My sister, if you cannot feed yourself, don't fall in love. Relationship is not a restaurant.
So we would need to pay for your time? Relationships are give and take, not just take. She brings personality. What kind of mentality is this? Pay for your food. At least most of it. It's not his responsibility if you're not a full-time housewife. That's some expensive personality. Unless it's a second or third date, you shouldn't expect a man to pay for your meal, as he would be a stranger at that point. Why would you expect someone who barely knows you to feed you? If you are not in a position to pay for your own food, you better spend your free time trying to find a way to increase your finances, as it's a better strategy.
We live in a day and age where average women, like the woman you just saw on screen here, thinks that she is a 10 and needs to be taken care of in every imaginable way. She unironically sat there and said, "My good looks. Are you fucking joking me?" I can understand if like a girl like in the last video said that, because, well, they do take a lot of care of their appearance. You can tell this woman looks like she just rolled out of bed, and that is absolutely fucking ridiculous to think like this.
If he decided to pay for it, it means you got lucky, but it shouldn't be a requirement. This is the reason a lot of people end up not being happy with what they have. They get into the dating scene with the wrong mindset, then they get surprised when things don't go as they expected. Since this is her expectation for the guy she meets, what will she bring to that union? A lot of people have a long list of what they want without taking into consideration what they have to offer in return.
I don't particularly think I'm bad looking, all right? I have a job, I pay my phone bill, but no one wants to date me. And the answer is not that my standards are too high, because I've dated 3 rats in a trench coat just because they wanted to take me out to dinner one time. So what's wrong with me? Why?
I'm convinced it's a global issue for us girlies. A guy without a bed frame ghosted me. I feel this in my soul. I pay my phone bill.
These women never seem to take into account that it's their awful personality, and that's the reason that men just do not want to date them. I mean, look at the first sentence of that video that just started, that we saw about a couple seconds of. She said, "I pay my phone bill," as if that's some huge achievement. I feel like most teenagers can pay their own phone bill, and most of them do, as a lesson to get finance. Are you joking me? This is clearly someone who still lives under mommy and daddy's roof and has all her bills covered by mommy and daddy. How ridiculous.
I have this conversation with myself daily. Because you're too good for them. I'm the same. All these people finding love, but here I am. We know in our current society one of the biggest reasons modern women are struggling with dating and relationships is due to their high standards and unrealistic expectations, but since this isn't her case, we have to look at another possibility, which could be the fact that men are no longer willing to engage in dating and relationship as we used to.
And with that one, he is 100% correct, and we are going to be cutting the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I would really, really appreciate it. And also thank you to Modern Dating here for creating the original piece of content that we reacted to. I'm leaving a link to their channel and the original video in the description. Go check it out. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching today.